Minnesota's Assistant Attorney General and State House hopeful, John Zweier, has one of the more ridiculous gun control proposals that I have seen in a long time, wanting all guns being transported or carried in public to have visible trigger locks on them at all times. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel with a hot take that is something. But before I get into the details on that, this video is brought to you with the help of My Patriot Supply. Most of us are feeling the effects of crippling inflation. The world seems to be going to hell in a handbasket. A socialist just won New York, though, and that didn't surprise me much at all. And all in all, it's starting to seem more important than ever to be prepared. Right now, My Patriot Supply is running a limited time offer to give you more value for your money. When you order a 3-month emergency food kit, you'll receive a free 4-week food kit along with it. My Patriot Supply has delicious calorie-packed meals made for long-term storage that have up to a 25-year shelf life, which is peace of mind that you can count on. And right now, you can get 4 months of emergency food for the price of 3. So to take advantage and get prepared today, go to preparewithliberty.com. Minnesota is having a bad time these days with all the calls for new gun control. As I mentioned in the opener, we can now add John Zweier to those calls. He is currently the Assistant Attorney General, but is also hoping to pick up an empty seat in the State House and in a deep blue district. Ahead of that, he is, of course, trying to drum up some press for his gun control proposals, including a new piece in the Star Tribune. The piece is an interesting one, as it starts off with admitting that illegal firearms are often not taken off the streets, so lots of bad guys have guns, and knowing bad guys have guns has made this guy fearful for his family at big events, like the No Kings protest he took his wife and kids to, and apparently even sat everyone down and talked to them about what to do if someone started shooting at them. None of this, of course, included the possibility of self-defense. He then says that the problem is that firearms have rights. He says that, in his experience, courts have to prove without a shred of doubt that a firearm was used in a crime, and for someone shockingly working in the AG's office, argues that if someone is a prohibited person, the law is only allowed to take the gun the person used in a crime, and they're allowed to keep the rest of them? So he says he has a new proposal that he says will stop the gun violence problem once and for all. I assume that, as he has dedicated an article to it with a little footnote about how he's going to be running for House District 64A, he plans to introduce this as legislation if he wins. All firearms out in public on our city streets should have visible trigger locks. Just like with the adoption of seatbelts, firearm safety culture can make this adjustment. And like with DUIs, failure to responsibly transport a trigger-locked firearm should be enforced with civil penalties and possible forfeiture of the firearm. The moral community should be empowered to enforce this. The public should be educated on what these trigger locks look like and should be asked to report any time they see a firearm without one. Firearm retailers can help by selling every firearm with a trigger lock and requiring it be engaged as an individual walks out of their store. Quick reporting of an unsecured firearm or of an individual unlocking their firearm on our city streets could give law enforcement an earlier warning of when evil is about to strike. His proposal is not just that firearms transported from place to place should be locked up, but that all firearms in public, even those being legally carried, should have a lock on them, defeating the purpose of carrying a firearm. He says that if everyone's guns had locks on them, they'd be less likely to be stolen, and people would be less impulsive in shooting each other because they'd have to unlock their guns before they could shoot someone. This, he says, is a common sense plan. In reality, I think it would make it more likely that a criminal rolling up on someone would steal their gun because the legally armed person wouldn't be able to use it in time to stop them. Also, I'm not sure if someone sees someone taking out a gun and unlocking a trigger lock and decides to call the cops are still not going to show up until after whatever violence is done. I mean, how long do they think it takes to unlock that? And never mind that there are criminals who A, wouldn't follow this, B, probably planned their crimes ahead of time, and C, that most legally carried guns are hidden from view. This means that realistically, this law would have zero ability to be enforced beyond occasional people seeing someone printing or a glimpse of a gun, panicking, and calling the cops, which incidentally did happen back in Massachusetts a bunch and could turn you into a prohibited person. So that's probably part of the goal here. And the thing is, he compares guns to DUIs and says that guns aren't taken and punished because they have rights. Which isn't true, but either way, if someone gets a DUI, their car isn't scrapped. It's not taken to the junkyard because it's not the car's fault. The car didn't do anything wrong. The problem is the person who drove it drunk. He also doesn't say whether or not his proposal would apply to the police. Even in open carry states like South Carolina, it's far more likely to see a cop out and about with a gun than an everyday citizen. But as we all know, law enforcement is pretty much always exempt from gun laws. Now, of course, if this guy ever won and actually proposed this as a real bill, it wouldn't see the light of day. But it's still a little window into what the gun control side is thinking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. You guys know the drill. For all of the algorithm things, please do them. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting. Oh, and last thing, I almost forgot. Thank you to everyone who nominated me for Influencer of the Year for the Gundies. That is amazing. I'm pretty shocked, actually, that I got nominated for that, so super cool. And reminder that voting goes from December 1st to December 15th on the Gundies website.